deciding to sell everything we owned prior to traveling full-time was a big job. I mean, it took us quite some time. I'm Chris, this is Steve, we are Eat, Walk, Learn. This is part 2, I think, of our series of how to get rid of all your stuff. So if on our particular timeline, we have a 2-year timeline. You may have a 2-week timeline, but in the beginning of your timeline, you have to get rid of all your shiny, pretty stuff and your heirlooms and the things that you don't use on a regular basis. Now for us, it was a year out. For you, it may be a week, but it's all of the things that are associated with time, like your seasonal stuff and your holiday stuff and your occasional stuff, things that you use throughout the year that as that time passes, you don't need it anymore, like Christmas decorations or Valentine's decorations or Halloween decorations. Once you use them at this point in your life and when you're getting ready to launch your nomad life, you don't need them anymore. It's time to get rid of them.
Yeah, and since we've been traveling for more than 4 years now, it's really great for us to reflect back on what it was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So like a year before we even decided or before we even left our home and left the country, to reflect on what are the things that we did right, and maybe there's some things that maybe we could have done a little bit better.
Yeah.
Once you've gotten, like Chris said, once you've gotten rid of all the things that you just don't need, you're just not using them.
You're not buying anything anymore. Remember, number one, once you decide you leave, you don't buy anything. That's the biggest the biggest tip of getting rid of your stuff is not buying any stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're looking around your house, and it's like daunting because you see furniture, you see things on the walls, you see things in cabinets, and knowing that every single thing in your house, including your house, and your cars, and everything in your garage
has to go.
All has to go before you start your full-time travel.
Right. So for us, at about a year out, we had made the decision that we were going to sell the house. At this point, we lived in Denver. The market was really good, and we anticipated the market was going to stay good. So we decided that we were going to sell the house for sale by owner. So we had a little bit more control, we thought, over when our closing date was, when our escrow dates would be, and so on. So at this point, about a year out, if you are not someone who wants to sell your house for sale by owner, or maybe you don't have a house, but if you do, make some relationships with those real estate agents, start talking to a professional, and figure out what timeline is you need to follow in order to get your house sold, and anticipate what your escrow date is going to be, or your closing date is going to be for your closing. Now, we took a look at that, and we made some little adjustments to the date on the calendar that we had circled. We had circled, I think it was a Sunday. We started looking, we said, well, it's kind of hard to close on a Sunday, usually close on a Friday, so maybe we should need to adjust for that. And then we also we started getting some ideas about how we're going to actually get rid of the stuff in our house, which we'll tell you in a minute. But we started looking at when big trash pickup day was in our neighborhood. Now, what does that mean? Some neighbors have it, some don't.
Yeah, I mean, you might not have this in your community, but this was the time that was, I think, once a month or once every 2 months in our community where the trash haulers would come by and they would pick up anything that you took out that was out on the curb. So we were thinking about things like big mattresses and just old, and furniture. Like instead of having to haul those things to Goodwill, there are some things that you just can't take to Goodwill, and they're big things. So we wanted to kind of time it so that those things were able to leave our house the same day that we left our house. And
that also includes like your hazmat materials and your computers and your hard drives and the things that you can't throw away in the trash. Some neighborhoods have particular days to pick up those types of materials. We had that day, and on our calendar, it was a Monday. So we started scheduling everything backwards that we wanted to be out of the house on Tuesday, which I think was June 1st, if I remember right. So working backwards from Tuesday, Monday was big trash pickup day. Monday we could close on, hopefully, ideally, we could close on our house and we could leave on Tuesday. That was the plan. And that's what we worked towards.
Yeah, that was the plan.
When we started looking at all of our stuff, by this, in our last video, and for a year we had been getting rid of all the pretty things and the shiny things and the heirloom things and the things that we wanted to make sure went to the right people or we got the right price for. Steve and I decided that we did not want to do a bazillion garage sales or a bazillion Facebook Marketplace interactions. We didn't want to have to negotiate a nickel off of this and a quarter off of that, or schedule appointments for people to come pick things up and they don't show up, or they come and they say, I only have $10 and it was supposed to be $20. We didn't want to deal with any of that. So we decided
we were going to have an estate sale. So we were actually going to be like you say, what do you mean estate sale? You're not dying. Well, we are in a way, because we're getting rid of everything down to the half a bottle of soap underneath the cabinet, sink.
Yep.
But I'm a garage sale guy. I love a good garage sale, but we're talking about so many things in a household full of belongings, like, closets filled with clothes, and, linen closets filled with extra sheets and blankets, and bookcases filled with books. I mean, this was a lot of things to get rid of that is hard to do in a weekend garage sale.
Yeah. So our estate sale planner told us, don't get rid of anything. We can sell everything. And so that's basically what except for the things that we had already gotten rid of, we didn't get rid of really anything up until the estate sale. Now, there's 2 rules about the estate sales. Number 1 is you've got to realize that what you have is not worth what you think it is. Period. You may have paid $100 for it. You'll be lucky to get $25 for it. It is not with you what it is. It's not worth what you want to pay for it.
Yeah, and also you're going to be splitting all the profits with your estate sale company, so they're going to take their cut. So this is not a money-making opportunity. This is not like, how can I get the most money for the crap that I have in my closet?
And CRAP is exactly what you have, because nobody wants it. And it's not worth anything. So we kind of looked at it as, you mean the estate sale is actually going to give us money to get rid of all this stuff in our house? So the relationship that I think we paid 50-50 with the estate sale agency. They took 50 and we took 50. We had to pay sales tax and the transaction fees on the credit card. So we ended up clearing about, 40% or something of what they gave us. We were thrilled. And truthfully, if you have retired and you're about to travel full time, if you need the money from your estate sale to fund your full-time travel, this is not the lifestyle for you. You're not ready to travel full-time. You do not have the money you need. If you're arguing with someone over the price of a couch and you need $1,000 and they only want to give you $100, you are not ready for this lifestyle.
Yeah, but let's get back to kind of an emotional aspect of this, is that we set up the estate sale. It was going to be like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Right.
I think something
like Thursday, that. Friday, Saturday. We were going to do something special on Sunday, which we'll tell you about in a minute. Monday was big trash pickup day. Steve had actually reserved a truck, a U-Haul, for Monday, I think it was, in case there were things that didn't sell at the estate sale or whatever. He could put it in the U-Haul and take it to the dump. Right. And then Tuesday we were leaving.
Right. But back to the emotions of knowing that estate sale was going to completely change your life. That one day you're living in your house, you're watching your TV, you're cooking your meals, and the next day it's going to be gone. And so what was that? The Scrooge that stole Christmas.
Oh yeah, little Sue, whatever her name is. So the Grinch comes down the chimney. We can find the video of it. Comes down the video and he picks up the last crumb from the fireplace. That's what's happening here.
Yes. So we decided we didn't want to be around while that was happening, while the estate sale. So we had the whole estate sale company. It was all set up. Everything was ready to go. We planned on leaving for the weekend so that we wouldn't have to be there witnessing what was going on.
It was hard. It was really emotional. There are 2 carry-ons that we had packed and we were ready to go. By the way, if you need a to-do list and a workbook on getting through all this, we got that done for you. Just go buy 2 carry-ons and a plan on Amazon. It has a workbook. It has a list. Everything we're talking about. You got yearbooks. You got this. You got that. This is how you get rid of them. It is in 2 carry-ons and a plan. Anyway, we had loaded up our 2 carry-ons and we went away for the weekend to test out the carry-ons and not be there because I was crying. I mean, Steve's like, it's going to be okay. And I'm like, it's going to be okay to him because he was pretty emotional too. Anyway, so if you're not going to do an estate sale at a year out, you need to start getting rid of the following things. So all the extra stuff. You have 7 blankets, you only need 1, get rid of 6 of them. You have 30 pillows, you only need 2, get rid of 28 of them. Get rid of the extra stuff. The stuff that's in the back of your kitchen cabinets that you haven't used in forever. The salad spinner and the mismatched Tupperware cups or lids and the extra measuring cup, the extra spatula, all that. Get rid of all of it. Now's the time to do that. Steve says, we're not going to talk about yearbooks. I'm like, yeah, we are going to talk about yearbooks. It was very emotional for me to get rid of all my books, particularly, but especially my yearbooks. I actually sent my yearbooks back to the schools. They were thrilled to have them because the yearbooks had, have a bitchin' summer, Chris, and it captured a moment in time, and the libraries at the schools were thrilled to have that moment in time captured. I even took pictures of those sayings from my friends, and the ones I'm still in touch with on Facebook, I sent it to them on Facebook, and we had just a thrill going through those. So that was really fun.
But let's get back to our experience because we did hire the estate sale company. They did come in, they did get everything set up. We left for the weekend. We came back. And after the estate sale,
it was heartbreaking.
First of all, the house was still pretty much a mess because of things that were like all pulled out and thrown out and things like that. But I'd say about 75, maybe 80% of what was in the house was gone. Was completely gone. There were still a lot of things left. There was a lot of clothes in the closet. There were all things in drawers. There was some ratty old, some chairs and some odds and ends kind of furniture.
Surprisingly, even though we lived in Denver, we had some camping gear left, some tents and some sleeping bags. A lot of people don't want to buy that used, but there's a lot of people that want it. So, and that's what we did on Sunday. So here is the biggest tip and the biggest surprise that we just we experimented with, and it was quite a success. So everybody said to us, well, whatever you have left, just take to Goodwill or just take to your local charity shop. Okay, well, I thought, I don't want to do 30 loads to Goodwill. I'm going to have Goodwill come to me. Now, I don't mean Goodwill particularly come to me because I don't think Goodwill picks up. I thought the people that need this stuff, let's have them come to us. So we put an ad in Facebook Marketplace that said, and we can put the text up if you want, but it's in 2 carry-ons and a plan. The actual text is in 2 carry-ons and a plan, so go grab it from there. But it basically said on Facebook Marketplace, everything is free. Everything that's left in the house is free. Sunday from 12 to 4, line up. You can come into our house and you can take anything that is left. So on Sunday, it was pouring rain. It never rains in Denver, and it starts to pour rain in Denver.
We have an exception. We said people that are collecting for homeless and
nonprofits and teachers.
Nonprofits. So we really wanted to be very specific about the people that were coming into the home, that the things that they were taking were going to be used of good value, that people were really going to get benefit from.
And those are the people that wanted the tents and the sleeping bags. So so everybody started lining up. They're in the rain. Our house was 3 stories, and so there were 3 of us, so we each took a floor, because when you sell things are free, people think like the ceiling fan is free and the faucets are free. They weren't free, but all the things that were not attached were free. So anyways, we kept people on the 3 floors, and then we opened the doors. We said, first we allowed the nonprofits and the teachers and the folks collecting for people experiencing homelessness. We allowed them to come in 10 people at a time, and we gave them 10 minutes. So these people, they ran through the house. We had bags laying around the house because they were left over from the sale. People would take the bag, they would put stuff in it. They'd take another bag, put stuff in it. They would leave the next 10 people. We did that. We thought we would be there for 4 hours. We were done in 45 minutes. What did we have left?
Well, we had some trash, basically. Things like, broken hangers and things that just had absolutely no value to anybody. So we just started at that point with a broom and just kind of cleaning things up that were left in the house. It was amazing how things that were taken, like the half a bottle of soap and the half a jar of peanut butter and things like that.
Did we have food? Did we really have food left?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't think we had food left. I think we had food. Yeah.
So there were actually like 5 or 6 bags of trash that were left, and so within like another hour or 2. We had the place completely cleaned and empty. There was big trash day we talked about. We didn't need big trash day because everything had been taken. All the furniture, mattresses, things like that you can't just give to Goodwill.
Yeah.
All
gone.
It was all gone. The funny thing is, so we put this trash out,
and the 6 bags.
The 6 bags. And the next morning, I go to look, and there's only 1 bag left. It's like somebody came and took 5 bags of trash in the middle of the night.
Before the garbage men came, the other 5 bags got taken.
I guess people thought, well, he said it was free. I'm going to come get it, even though it's on the street.
So anyway, so the garbage men came. They took the 1 bag, and the house was done. So fortunately, in the month prior to the Monday, we did sell the house, but our escrow date didn't end up being until 30 days later. So now the house is clean. It's empty. It's clean. Unless we're going to sleep on the floor, there's no places. We don't have pillows. We have nothing. We have our 2 carry-on bags. That's it. So we decided to actually do house sitting locally for the next month while we waited for escrow, and we cleaned up. We had just some professional stuff we needed to take care of before we left. But that's how we sold everything. It was basically, we sold it on a 3-day weekend in an estate sale, and everything else was gone. I was sad.
It was a sad day. It was a happy day because the freedom feeling of just the just emotional release to know that you have no more possessions.
Yeah, it's a whole new, you spend your whole life, achieving the American dream of, you work, you buy a house, you get stuff, you retire, you enjoy the stuff, you sell the house,
you die.
You die.
But we're still alive. Wait, we're still kicking.
Yeah, and to think that, we modified the American dream and we're doing something completely different was kind of hard to take a hold of. But then once we started realizing less stuff, less liability, more freedom, it really started to kick in that our nomad life was starting, our full-time travel was about to begin, and life is a dream. Life as we know it now is fantastic.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions about all your stuff, let us know. Next week, we're going to talk about the things you need to be doing about a year out, if you've got a year, that have to do with your legal stuff, your will, your domicile, your mailing address, health insurance,
your phone. I mean, all the things that you need to think about that are, generally attached to, you're living in your house are now
detached.
And you need to think about alternative ways of covering all those needs.
And we're going to help you. Again, we're going to hold your hand. We're going to give you virtual hugs, and we're going to help you get through this, because when you get through and you get it all set up, you're going to have a great life. We'll see you then next week.